Let's go! 3 idiots on a podcast. Like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Mine just sucks.
We don't know if any of that's true, but... Oh, Jordan, don't give me this technically crap. Come on.
You got personal this week.
Lots of stuff happened this week.
Chad Birger, Ryan Gosling of USD.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You guys do it in a really professional manner, and it's awesome.
New year, new intro. I love it. Folks, we are back. Welcome into the season 2 premiere of the Howling Podcast, where we don't know what we're doing and runs us sucks. My name is Jordan Decker, and tonight I will be joined by fellow Coyote fans Mark Wendt and Chad Birger, the Ryan Gosling of USD. Very special guest for tonight's episode, making her Howling Podcast debut. First things first, though, quick disclaimer. The opinions on this show are strictly Chad, Mark, and myself, and do not represent USD or USD Athletics. You can find us on X, Facebook, and YouTube. X at HowWithUs3. You can find myself at JD6OP5, Mark Wendt at WDiamond605, and Chad Birger at Chad Birger. That's BIRGER at Chad Birger. Facebook, just search the Howling Podcast. Please like and follow if you do not already. And on YouTube, search at the Howling Podcast. Please subscribe. All right, so we got all that fun stuff out of the way. Before we get going, a quick word from our new show sponsor for 2025, our friends at 19 Brewing Company.
Looking for a place where good beer meets better company? Welcome to 19 Brewing Company, Vermilion's first craft brewery and home to Coyote Legacy Blonde Ale. Brought to you by 2 USD alumni, Coyote Legacy isn't just any beer. It's a chance to give back to student scholarships while enjoying a refreshing blonde ale. With 12 rotating taps, a flavor-it-yourself seltzer, and homemade root beer, we have something for every Coyote fan. 19 Brewing Company. Good beer, better company.
Oh, that's a beautiful stage. Chad and Mark, welcome back.
Oh,
Well, let's go.
it's been a summer. I'm ready for some Coyote athletics. Let's roll
Same
here.
here. Let's jump right into it.
All right, Mark, go ahead and lead us through what's happening here.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, athletics is off and running. Soccer 2-1-1 on the year. They opened with UNI. It was a 1-1 draw. And followed that up with a trip to Drake and beat the preseason number 1 team.
I forgot about that picture.
Preseason Missouri Valley Conference. We beat them 2-1 and then hosted Kansas State and lost that one 2-0 and bounced back nicely with a win over Morningside. And also last night, as we'll talk about here real soon, exhibition versus UNI. And we'll get into all the stuff that happened.
All right. Quick reminder, if you want to be a part of the show, if you're watching out there on YouTube, X, Facebook, wherever, go ahead and chime in on the comments, and your comment may be featured on the show. So make sure to interact with the program while you are out there. So next up, Jordan.
It's that time. It is that time. All right, now we're going to bring in a recent inductee into the UW Milwaukee Hall of Fame. Also signed a recent extension with the flagship through 2030. She has a 231 and 101 record. You can tweet at Chad for that winning percentage. She can give that to you, including a 137 and 40 conference record. We welcome now friend of the show and head coach of USD Volleyball, Leanne Williamson. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Coach, we are so pumped to have you on the program today. One of the reasons that we are pumped is we feel like you have an extreme loyalty to USD. You've been with USD for a lot of years now, and USD is very loyal to you. Do you want to talk a little bit about like the relationship that you have with the University of South Dakota?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that I've been here as long as I have, going on year 17, total, year 12 as the head coach. But, I started here as a GA back in 2009 and absolutely kind of fell in love with the town and the community and obviously this program. That's kind of the number one reason why I'm here. But I feel very blessed to be able to work with the people I do. And I feel grateful that people feel the same way in return. So you said it, but did just sign a new contract here in the off season and very excited, obviously for myself and the partnership with the university, but also for my family to be able to stick around Vermilion and continue to grow as a family here.
Coach, I kind of wanted to ask you about the culture you've created during that time. I know that the soccer tweeted out a picture and the only people I saw in the stands was your team. And Chad and I talked about it a little bit yesterday afternoon. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen a volleyball player by herself. It's a group of 6 or 7 at minimum, not all of them. So can you just talk about that togetherness you seem to have and supporting every other thing going on campus as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, we've always felt strongly that our student athletes within the volleyball program should be supporting other student athletes. We have seen so much support in the SCSC for us, and we have seen a lot of student athletes come and support us as well, that we want to make sure that we're giving back to the other sports. And I think being able to, we talk about setting that standard, we talk about making that a priority. But at the same time, our student athletes genuinely enjoy it. They have friends on other teams and they enjoy athletics as a whole. So for them, do we talk about it? Yes. But I think more than anything, they want to do it. They want to be there. They want to go support the other teams. And, to touch on what you just said, just in terms of the fact that they're rarely alone, that's very true. I think even for when we see them, off outside of the gym and, on campus or around town, they tend to be around each other. And, we do put a big emphasis on culture. We do put a big emphasis on the relationships and putting in the time to develop those, both obviously in season, but probably even more so out of season. And I think that's something that they have bought into, but at the same time, they genuinely enjoy each other's company. They enjoy spending time together. They enjoy getting to know each other. They have a lot of fun off the court. They have a lot of fun on the court, which is a whole nother story. But this group is pretty special in terms of the relationships that they have into that this off season, our Spain and Portugal trip. But obviously, I think we have like-minded people within our program as well. And that obviously helps as well when you think about forming those relationships.
Coach, and staying on the togetherness and the relationship building, and you talked a little bit about the Spain trip with John on the Yokecast podcast. But for those that haven't heard about it, what does a trip like that do for the gals on your roster, especially the newcomers, both with playing, like getting some playing time in the summer, and then also with that relationship building with their new teammates?
I mean, it was huge for us. I think it's instrumental just in terms of starting the season strong. You kind of mentioned it, the newcomers, I think it probably benefited more than anybody else, but we did have a freshman and a transfer come in January. So they, I think, kind of kickstarted their journey to being a Coyote a little bit earlier, but if you include them in the totals, we have 5 freshmen and 2 transfers. So 7 out of our 17 on our roster are new to the program in terms of haven't been a part of a fall season with us yet. And that's a pretty big number for us as a volleyball program. So I think it was a huge advantage to be able to come in early. We had 10 days of training before we left. And then obviously the 10 days of travel where we're on planes, we're in hotels, we're walking around new cities, we're experiencing new cultures and new foods. And on top of that, we're doing that with a big group of people, with our parents and fans. And I think just you saw over the course of that time, starting when we checked in, I think it was May 28th, to when they returned back to campus on June 21st. Those relationships were so much deeper. And you could see our freshmen hanging out with the juniors and the seniors and the sophomores, and you just saw them in different position groups and different friend groups. And they were very bought in to making sure that happened, that it wasn't that they weren't constantly with the same people. And so I do think the relationship building right away, I think it's unmatched. Even starting up in preseason, you think about the first couple days and we're kind of looking back and reflecting on past years, and even as a coaching staff, we could tell there just wasn't some of the awkwardness, of starting with a brand new team. They knew how to communicate. They knew what we were teaching. They knew a lot of the drills already. And we just felt like we were kind of a step ahead right away as a program. So I think it helped everybody. I think it was a benefit for our program as a whole, but I definitely think for the newcomers, being able to wear a Coyote jersey, and play in matches and, get coached by us and kind of start to form those different relationships. And, selfishly for us as coaches to start to get to know our players as well, especially the new ones, of just how do you coach them best? What do they need in certain situations? What does and doesn't make sense to them. And, those are things that we're often trying to figure out during the middle of preseason. So to be able to kind of have that step up and, I think being able to learn some of those things already, I think I think we've already seen the benefit, but I think we're going to continue to see the benefit during this season.
Coach, we listen to almost every one of your post-game interviews. We listen to a lot of your visits on the Coyote reports, the Yokecast, anything you're on. And so we want to clarify some of the terminology that you use.
Okay.
And so when you say preseason, you're talking about what happens from the beginning of when you play up until the conference season kicking in. Is that correct?
Yes. Now,
okay.
you can probably even separate it a little bit farther, like the preseason practices, really being, I think we checked in on August 3rd this year. So that August 3rd timeframe to essentially now was kind of our preseason practice segment. And now we'll get into our preseason tournaments where we have 4 weekends. Obviously 5 if you include our exhibition match that we had this weekend. But the 4 weekends of tournaments where we're probably playing 3 matches in each weekend. So that would be kind of the end of preseason as you know it. But I do think the big chunk of preseason, when we think about preseason practices, it's really when we are first beginning for those first 2.5 weeks.
Okay. One other thing that you say very frequently is out of system. You want to try to get the other team out of system. Mark and Jordan are not big volleyball guys, and so they have no clue what that means. I think I have a clue what you're talking about there, but when you say out of system, what does that mean?
Well, first, I think they're volleyball guys. I think they enjoy the sport. They are fans. They want to be a part of things. They just might still be learning the sport as they go, which is just fine. Out of system to us, essentially getting the setter on the run. If we think about that serve receive ball, that first pass, if they are on the net, they're in system and they can set all 2 to 3 of their attackers, that would be in system. So for us, we want to get the setter on the run. A lot of times that might mean beyond the 10-foot line. So behind that area where they are limited in who they can set. So a true out of system ball may be taken from the libero. It may be the setter bump setting on the run. But I really think about anything beyond the 10-foot line takes their middle out of the equation. And that would be probably when we would start to call it more out of system. So essentially you limit the amount of the attackers they can have, and we can focus in on 1 or 2 attackers where we should be able to defend at a little bit of a higher level. Whereas when they're in system and they have all 3 or 2, depending if they're in a 5-1 or a 6-2, then that becomes a lot harder to defend. So both ways, we want to get the other team out of system, and then we want to be in system. But, a little caveat to us is we do work a lot out of system in terms of being able to score points when we're out of system, and not rely on having to be in system consistently to score points. So it's something that we feel like we can set ourselves apart at times from our opponents. And we do work really hard on it. But yeah, that out of system ball, essentially limiting the amount of attackers that they can set.
All right. Mark, I don't know. She said 6'2", 5'1". You know what that is now, right?
No, but
we're gonna learn though. You'll be hearing us yell some stuff out.
Well, I'll tell you.
Number of setters, yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So 5'1", you got 1 setter, 5 attackers. In a 6'2", you have 2 setters. They tend to set out of the back row, and then in that system, then you actually have 6 attackers because you've got 3 in the front row at all times.
So let's quiz Mark a little bit. What do we run? Do we run a 5'1" or a 6'2"?
Come on, Mark.
How many setters do we have on the court at a time?
I've never seen more than 1.
Okay, there we go. 5-1. All right.
So Avery's been our setter the last couple years, and she stays on the court for all 6 rotations. So she's our one setter. Yep.
And I will say, Coach is really great about this, and her staff is great about it. One of my favorite memories of Coach is I walked up to her at OLC one time at the radio show, and I asked her a simpleton question about volleyball, and she explained it with a napkin and a couple forks and knives, and got it cleared for me. So I really appreciate that. Coach, I wanted to ask you about something that John Thayer couldn't ask you because it hadn't happened yet. How would you grade the performance last night?
Yeah, I think it was really good for us. When we plan that exhibition, we tend to play people that are going to challenge us at a really high level. And you and I did that kind of from start to finish. And I will tell you, we feel really strongly that our defense is going to be a huge part of our success this year. We have the ability to be very, very good on the defensive end, especially in the backcourt. And you and I was just as good, if not edged us out on that end. So I think it allowed for people that were there. I think you saw a lot of really long rallies. You saw a lot of defensive plays being made. And I think it showed us, of just really what that looks like to set that standard. We were able to, I think, match it at times. And we were able to, I think, really get ourselves into those long rallies because of our defense. But it's a good lesson for us of just how do we set that tone? How do we make sure that maybe if another team isn't as good as us on the defensive end, how do we make sure that we're setting it and making people play to our level? We did some different lineups. We put some different people out there, and I think that was really good for us just in terms of getting people opportunities in a game setting. We get really comfortable during preseason playing ourselves. We know each other's tendencies, especially as, defenders and blockers going against our attackers. We know what people like to do. We know what shots they like to hit. We know what they do in system and out of system. That having to do it against somebody else that we don't have a huge scouting report for. We had some keys that we had going in to them that we were able to share with our team, but a lot of it was learning on the fly. A lot of it was playing the game and making adjustments based on what we saw. But it wasn't people that we saw consistently, in terms of, again, our own team. So I think we got out of it exactly what we needed to. There's things that we now know playing against somebody else are, hey, these are actual strengths. These are things that we are doing well, and what we're seeing in practice is carrying over. And then maybe there's a few things that, we recognize now that gives us a little bit of a blueprint going into this week before our first tournament this weekend of things that are going to be really important for us to make adjustments to, things that are going to be important to us to stress with our team. And some of it is going to be skill related, and some of it is going to be mindset, of just how we approach different situations and how comfortable we are, having to make the big play at times. So I think it's exactly what we needed. I'm very glad that we played such a good team again in UNI. I respect that team. I respect that coach a ton, that coaching staff a lot. And having them there and being able to play such high level volleyball in weekend one is absolutely going to prepare us for our first true non-conference weekend coming up.
So one quick follow-up to that third set, and Chad and I discussed this while we were sitting there. That was as intense as a Summer League tournament game, I thought, at one point. Did you guys feel that too? Yeah,
we did. And I think as a coach, you can always find the things that don't go well, right? And the end of the match or the end of that set was a lot of fun. It was very high level. Both sides were making plays. And we felt like we kind of kicked ourselves, or shot ourselves in the foot at the beginning of the set. We had a lot of errors. I think at one point in time, we had 5 serving errors and 6 attacking errors out of their 15 or 16 points. So over half of their points were coming from our errors. And once we talked about that, I think we were able to address it. And I think our team did a good job of making some changes and then finding ways to put themselves back into that game. And that end of the game was intense. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to see how our team competed. And, some people really stepped up, which is exactly what we want to see in those situations. Would have loved to be able to come out on the winning side of that. That's obviously the one bummer. But at the same time, again, I'd rather be in those situations yesterday, in order to be more prepared for them going into these matches that do count for wins and losses.
And Coach, on that too, if you bear with me for a second, for Yote fans that don't really know or haven't looked at the schedule, there's a tournament upcoming this weekend. We'll get into that. You got some high quality preseason or non-con opponents here. Oregon, Montana State, UConn. But I believe you mentioned this on the Yotecast too. After that, I think it's 3 out of 4 weekends in a row you've got home matchups. And you got the Coyote Invitational. I mean, you've got Kansas coming in, Green Bay coming in. That's September 11th through the 13th. So can you kind of talk about this preseason schedule and what you're hoping to see from your squad leading up into conference play?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, scheduling is a tough part of our job. Finding tournaments that really are going to give us what we need in terms of the quality of opponent, and it might change a little bit depending on what year we're in and what our team looks like. But we really felt like this team needed to be challenged, right away, and could be challenged at a pretty high level. So when we went to schedule this non-conference portion, a lot of it was we had the return to Montana State, so that we knew we were going to be doing. But the UConn tournament is one that gives us 3 very high level opponents that are similar to us in terms of the fact that, we're in the NCAA tournament often. We win a lot of matches each year in our conference. And I think all 4 of those teams are going to match up really well with each other. And I think it's going to be a great battle in each of those. And then hosting twice for us this year was really important. With the conference being the way it is and us having split weekends, last year we had more of I don't want to say easy schedule, because I don't think any of the travel is necessarily easy, but we were, our schedule it definitely pushed towards us a little bit. And then this year is a little bit of a tougher schedule just in terms of traveling. We do travel a lot. Almost every single week we are on the road in some capacity, whether it's a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday match. So we knew that hosting twice was going to be important for the overall makeup of the season, putting our players in a position to be good at the end of preseason, physically, mentally, emotionally, kind of all the above there. So being able to bring in some of those teams, I think, one, we're happy to be home. We're happy to play in front of our fans. We're happy to sleep in our own bed. We're happy that we can get our players to class, because that's a huge stressor for them at times throughout the season. And then we kind of, I don't want to say we lucked out. We found people that wanted the same types of things that we did, and were able to find guarantees that essentially got them here. So very excited to bring such high level volleyball to Vermilion, to the SCSC, and can't wait to play in front of our fans after obviously being on the road for 2 weekends and learning a lot about ourselves. So I think it's a great mix for us. We've got people, kind of on different sides of the spectrum in terms of where they were at last year. But overall, we're definitely challenging ourselves at a pretty high level in those first 4 weeks. And I think this team can handle it. And I think that they're up for the challenge. But I also think it's important, and we've always had this philosophy, is to challenge ourselves during preseason, knowing that we may take a few more losses along the way to really learn about ourselves, what we're good at, what we're not good at. Because the one thing that really good teams show you is again, things that you're maybe not as strong at as other things. So it really puts us in a position to be the best version of ourselves, both as individuals and as a team at the end of these next 4 weeks.
Coach, you mentioned you saw a bunch of different lineups, or put a bunch of different lineups out there yesterday. How much different is it this year, where you're not necessarily going to rely on the freshmen as much as you did last year? Last year you had a really, really young squad. This year you have a little bit more experience. Being able to move people around and maybe put them in different spots, how big of an advantage is that for you?
The versatility of our team is huge. We have seen this team really, I think, excel in a lot of areas. But one of the biggest things that we are very happy to see right now is just the depth within our program, the depth within different positions, the depth with people being able to play different positions. And I really feel like this is a team that we can rely on a lot of different people to help us have success. It's not going to be it doesn't have to be the same, 8 players in every single match. So I'm really excited to see what they're able to accomplish over the course of the year. And you may feel like we're a little bit more experienced, which is true, but we are still very young. Again, with the 5 freshmen and 2 transfers, and really when you look at this team, we have 1 senior that we do obviously we're shading towards the younger the makeup of our team again, but they have bought in to learning and failing and getting better through that failure. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to do. And yes, we did do some different lineups, and I think we've got a good idea of the direction we're going to start, which is exactly what that exhibition is designed to do. And then, from there, we're going to make adjustments as necessary. And I feel like the way we run our practices and the way that we have played so far. And I think, again, going back to Spain and Portugal, everybody has that playing experience in some capacity that we're going to feel comfortable making changes when we need to. And I always look at it as a positive. At times people may get taken out, but to me, it's such a positive that that person doesn't have to do it themselves. If they have an off night, if they're struggling in one area, that we have somebody else that can come in. And we've got some young players right now that are really stepping up and challenging some of our returners. And I think that's exactly where we want to be as a program, because if those freshmen are getting on the floor, it's because they have truly earned it. And I think it's making the people that are returning really work hard to make sure that they're being their best selves to hopefully earn that spot on the court as well. So they all want to play. They're all competitors. They want to be, they want their number called. They want to be the one taking the big swing in the big moments, but they know that not everybody is going to obviously have that opportunity, but I think that they're going to support each other at a really high level as well. And that's where that culture comes in. Is yes, the wins and losses are important, and it's something that we're obviously striving for, but I think the people behind the scenes are really what matters the most. And if we've got a good culture and we've got those relationships and they're supporting each other, I think there's going to be probably a few more wins along the way because of that, because our locker room is strong. And that's something I'm really excited about.
Coach, when do you keep track of your record or the how many challenges you win versus how many you don't win? And when do you decide when to challenge an official's call?
No, I don't keep track of my record there. Maybe I should go back and look. I think I will say every place that we play is a little bit different in terms of the camera makeup, the camera quality. For example, when we played at the University of Iowa, they have a top-notch challenge system. So we challenged quite a bit during those matches when we were playing there, because the cameras could pick up on the things that we were seeing and the things that we were challenging. Even at our place, I think we've got a good number of cameras, but there are certain things such as touches that tend to be the main thing that's missed, but they're really hard to catch on cameras. So our players, I will say, I go off of what they say a lot. If they are adamant about it and they're all looking at me saying, hey, there was a touch, like we're probably taking a risk and challenging that. But in and out, we're definitely going to challenge. But there's a lot of people obviously in our gym that help us get to that point. So sometimes it's taking a risk. I would have loved to win more. I think we should have won maybe the 2 that I had at the exhibition, but again, that's just my opinion.
But and you also have really experienced assistant coaches too that sometimes help you out with that type of stuff.
They do. Well. Yep. There's some really good stories about that. So anybody who's listening, if you want to hear the best challenge story, go ahead and ask Michael when you see him. But it goes back to the semifinal match last year at Kansas City against Omaha. But it's just hard because sometimes emotion gets in the way a little bit and you feel like you saw something, but sometimes it's because you want to see something. So those challenges are difficult, but I do think it kind of depends on where we're at. I see these cameras ahead of time. I know what the viewpoints are. So I know that there's certain things that we're probably not going to challenge a lot unless it's very clear, just because I know where the cameras are and I know what they're going to see and what they're not going to see. So there's a lot that goes into it, but you got to take some chances and try to put yourself in a position to help the team the best we can.
Chad, you got one? Any more?
Well, I've got a whole bunch. I could sit here and talk the coach all night. I don't know.
I was gonna change the tune, and for folks that aren't you're watching, if you're listening later on, we're with USD women's volleyball head coach Leanne Williamson. Coach, last one from me, kind of changing more personal side of things. First, we appreciate you coming on. You are now a friend of the show officially of the Howling Podcast. When did you know you wanted to be a head coach, or at least coach volleyball?
Both of those are hard to answer. When did I know I wanted to coach? I think for me, I always thought the idea of coaching was something that I was interested in, but I didn't really know what that looked like or how to get into it. So Matt Hauk is actually the head coach at Montana State now. He's the one that I worked under for 5 years here when I first came, and he had called me and just said, "Hey, you want to come be my GA?" And actually the first year he asked me, I said no. Because I was still in school. It took me 4.5 years to get my elementary education degree. So I was finishing up my student teaching. And I kind of lucked out that the position was open again that following year. So came out in 2009, and I loved what I was doing, but I'm not sure I fully knew that I wanted to, or I don't know if I would have necessarily put myself in that head coaching category at that point. And really probably not even until he left and I had to kind of face it head on. I loved working with Matt. I loved what I was doing as an assistant coach, but once he left, it was kind of a fork in the road of like, hey, what do we do here? And Tyler and I had just gotten married, and at the time nobody else knew, but we had just found out we were pregnant with the boys, and it was a little bit of a stressful situation. But I think when we really sat down and looked at it, the thing that I kept coming back to is I felt like Coyote Volleyball had more. I felt like that there was more that we could do. And I think as I walked through it and I talked through it with different people, I felt like I could make a difference. So I'm not sure I fully knew I wanted to be a head coach until I went through that process. And obviously I'm very glad that they entrusted me with the position at that point. But I think it took me having to kind of stare it in the face to figure out, yes, this is what I want. Yes, I do feel like I can help this program continue to move forward. And even now I look back and I chuckle at times, like, what was I doing? There are things I did as a head coach back then that, I wouldn't even think about doing now, which is probably a good thing because it means I've grown. But yeah, I think those would be kind of my answers. Is I think I loved the idea of coaching. I just didn't know how it would work or how you would get into it. And then I really needed to kind of confront it head on to realize that it was something that being a head coach was something that I was interested in.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I'll say you made a difference.
Well, thanks. It helps being here as long as I have been, but this program's special and it's grown a lot, and it had grown a lot during my time as assistant too. I think Matt really kind of jump-started things for us, but it's been a special ride for sure.
And you talked about it earlier, it really isn't a question. It's mostly just a comment, but like your culture. Any volleyball match folks that go to, they get, the girls are having so much fun. They're really into it. And the level of intensity that your teams have played with, it's like when I bring my family down and we go to games, the boys are just like, whoa, like every hit, every single hit, I'm like, oh, that's nothing, just wait. And then the next one's more. And it's so much fun to be at. And obviously that's a testament to facilities and the production team during the match as well. But you guys it's another level, and we're very lucky to have you and to have this team.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I think these student athletes have done an incredible job. And you are right. There are so many people around us that help make it a reality. Even Sarah and her crew this past weekend, our Terraflex was down. They pulled it up on Thursday to get ready for convocation on Friday, and then stayed until I think she said 1 a.m. To get the Terraflex back down so that we could play on it on Saturday. And I believe it's up again, or will be coming up again tomorrow morning. So, and the video and the marketing and our ticketing and the stats and the people who tell our story. And a lot of those people have been around for a while, so It's fun to again be a part of a program that is supported, but I think what's even cooler is to be a part of a program that people truly believe that we can continue to push the limits and that are doing the work behind the scenes to help us get there, and I know I'm not naive, winning helps, I think winning championships definitely helps get people there and helps make it an exciting event to be a part of. And we're going to continue to try our hardest, obviously, to follow along that path. But I think there's so many people that go into making this place special, but it really starts with our student athletes, and they are great people and they do have a lot of energy and they do enjoy what they're doing. And they're also fierce competitors, and I think that's what's a lot of fun to be a part of is they're great people. They work really hard, but they really, really want to win. And because of that, they're willing to put the work in to do what it takes to get there as well.
Well, Coach, I have a lot more questions for you, but unfortunately, I don't think we have time. I did explain to Mark what a back row attack was yesterday, so we've got that under control now. And then we saw Lauren Medic do a couple of those yesterday. And then the last thing, Mark usually doesn't bring his eye chart to volleyball matches. Do we need to start having him bring eye chart? And then can you kind of give him a signal when he should hold it up, maybe? Because he's not he's still learning volleyball.
I feel like where Mark is sitting, a very subtle yell in his direction. Mark, just a quick little mark.
I mean,
not
Mark,
that you should be thinking about us during your matches or anything,
But Mark, I think you know me well enough that I don't get too worked up. So when I do, I think that would be a good time to just pull that eye chart out. I think overall our refs do a pretty good job, but obviously there's things that, we might be able to see that there's still human error to it, but maybe not quite as much as what you see in basketball at times.
How many years away are we from laser technology like you see at Wimbledon or the U.S. Open in tennis, the ball hits, we know.
Well, I mean, the ABCA First Serve, which went on this weekend, which is essentially week 0 for football, they were using a new technology that does that. So there's the up ref and the down ref, and then no line judges. As soon as that ball lands, they're signaling because they've got the technology that's telling them whether that ball was in or out. So it actually looks, I think it's pretty similar to the technology that tennis may use in those settings. But I think we're a little ways away from the University of South Dakota using it.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. There's a challenge and everyone's watching the video board, does the zoom in and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight, Coach. We really appreciate it. This is awesome. I'll probably follow up with you here in a couple of weeks to kind of go over, some of the situation. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But
do that. You can reach out at any time.
We had a blast, and we thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I hope to see you guys around. And Mark, anytime you see me at OLC at the Coaches Show, just let me know what questions you've got. We've got napkins. We'll figure it out.
Very good. Thank you.
And knives. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Wow.
I was going to ask you, Mark, what the knives were. Is that the kill shot? Kill? Sorry, it's not kill shot.
Kill, yeah.
I went over to ask the question, and I was just really surprised with how in depth she got. And we obviously didn't have a chalkboard or a whiteboard. And
well, she's a teacher. Did you not hear her? She's a teacher and a coach.
Yes.
I mean,
brilliant.
She's going to that's
a great job. Great job. No, I really appreciate it.
Exactly what God called her to do. So the Yotes will be, like we mentioned with the coach here, they'll be on the road here the first couple weekends, but at home at the SCSC on September 11th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Versus Green Bay. And that is Military First Responders and Healthcare Appreciation Night. Is that correct? So yes. Mark's going to wear the dress whites. Is that what's going on?
I tried to put them on today, and that's not going
to work. Okay.
You got time.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun time. And Jordan, we're going to have to find a way to get you out there, you and the fam. I know it's marching band season and everything else, but we're going to get you down to some volleyball.
I saw the home schedule, and I believe Kansas is ranked for that. So that's a ranked team once again coming into Vermilion. I need to get to that tournament.
Yeah.
Invitational. Sorry.
Now, before we move on here, one of the things that was pretty unique yesterday, or it was kind of neat, was so the national anthem at the beginning. You know how we all used to turn and face the flag on the one end? There was actually a giant flag that rolled down right over center court for the national anthem, and then they rolled it back up after the anthem. So
I've got questions now about championship banners.
Okay, so we
were told
John Schemmel, who was on this episode, 33 last year with us. That's available on our YouTube channel, so go ahead and watch that. But John Schemmel, if you're watching, we have some questions for you regarding this.
Did it? Well, hold on. Dumb question. It rolled back up, right? Right afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, never mind. Whatever.
Okay.
Because his point was with the air ducts and stuff.
Yeah,
so okay.
I still have questions, but
we'll have to get a napkin and some forks to explain it to Mark.
No, but seriously though, that's pretty cool. That's a cool little.
No, it was really great.
To the SCSC, that's pretty cool.
Nice touch. Yep.
All right. So anything else in there? Because I've noticed some updates in the dome that I don't want to spill beans on. Were there anything else in the SCSC that you guys saw that changed? Any new like decals or anything like that?
We'll find out on September 11th, Jordan.
All right. Not just to I mean, it's public knowledge. They tweeted it out, but the basketball court looks pretty sick.
Well, we didn't see that yesterday.
All right.
So let's move on to news and notes, Mark.
News and notes. Football season is here. Week 0 happened here this past Saturday. Mark had a great summer. I did. A really great summer. Those of you that follow along with me know that I've been in family court off and on. Too much, actually. But I got 50-50 custody of Naomi and Caitlin this summer. So really happy about that and how that all turned out. Just grateful that that's hopefully over for now. So, great summer. Got to spend a lot of time with the girls.
And in addition to that, today's a special day for you, isn't it, Mark?
I think it is.
It is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Happy birthday to you and yours.
It is Mark's
birthday. We're going to update that. We're going to update that right now. Chad, you ready?
All right, let's go.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Mark. Your old
Mark.
birthday. Nice.
Yeah. Woo.
I don't know if that one's going to clip very well, but
that's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Mark.
I appreciate that.
I think I just woke up the kids yelling so loud. But here we
go. Moving on. Congrats to Dr. O, friend of the show, being selected as the USD faculty athletic representative. We saw her yesterday, and she seemed as normal. Every time you see Dr. O, big smile on her face. Really happy to support the Oats. So shout out Dr. O. Basketball schedules are out. You can find those on goyotes.com. I also had a great Thursday night. I went down to the Platts for, I can't remember what it's called now, but Thursday at the Platts, whatever it was. Got to meet some of the new women's basketball players. Have a little chat with Coach Devin Amy. Really nice time. And then I did run into Coach Rundy, the volleyball team, and had a nice chat with him as well. So,
future friend of the show.
Future friend of the show for sure. Yeah.
When you say a little chat with Devin Amy, that was what, 35, 45 minutes? I mean, Coach likes to talk.
We covered some ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
friend of the show, guest last season, Devin Amy.
Friend of the show. Yep.
Friend of the show.
He's excited. Obviously, that squad's going to be way more athletic and a lot of new faces. So excited for that to come.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned earlier in the start of the show, we did get a sponsor. Super happy to have 19 Brewery on board with us. Really appreciate that. Great spot if you haven't been in there. Nice little vibe in there, and obviously the Coyote legacy is kind of famous around Verm when it's available. Great beer, great time. Chad and I stopped back there yesterday after the volleyball. There we are.
Excellent local brew.
Like, stopped in. They had a great selection of
it's amazing.
Items on tap. They have food available. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So
I love Legacy, but personal right now, Bluffs Blonde Ale, excellent choice, but you can't go wrong there either. Any of them.
Yeah. Root beer on tap if you're not into the brewskis. So yeah, really great. Happy to have them. Mark, great Friday night. So Yale fans will know and remember Maddie Kroll on our Sweet 16 women's basketball team. She got married this weekend. And so some of our old friends were passing through, and I happened to be at the right place at the right time. So got to hang out with Coach Horn, Coach Breaker, Becky Jensen, Liv and Chloe, who are friends of the show. You just don't know that yet. Claudia Kunzer and my hero, PJ Maloney, the greatest Yale fan there is. So shout out PJ. Had really great time with those guys.
You couldn't have Photoshopped. I missed this picture by 5 minutes. A lot of the time, Chad and Mark take pictures of them having fun that I just missed the cut. I think they have something out against me. I think there's spot right in between Mark and Coach Horn there, right by the potato chips. You could have put my head right there.
What might have been.
Well, anyways, it was great to see those guys. I did get to see them, but
yep.
What else did you do Friday night, Mark?
Ooh.
I went to a very intense, and we should have asked Leanne about this, Coach Williamson, a very intense volleyball practice. And Brittany, if you're watching, shout out to you for taking this photo of me looking rather disgusting. I don't know what was going on there exactly, but it's become a meme online.
Are you
a little bit.
Picking something out of your teeth? Like, what are you doing?
Amanda Lotion, if you're watching, I'm not mad at you. I think you're great. I don't know.
Real quick, Carrie Oyen, Dr. O chimed in. Happy birthday, Mark, and thank you for the kind words. She's loving the FAR role so far. So
thank you. And last thing listed here, Chad and I, we had a great Saturday at the volleyball exhibition. Got our photo with the cheer squad. So we saw them sitting over there, and we're trying to figure out who they were. And then Chad finally just said, "Let's just go over there." So we did, and we got that picture. So,
Chad, I love your fearlessness of going to take pictures.
I found that hey, you know what? Let's just do it. It's fun. It's all in good fun.
Worst case is they say no, and you just awkwardly just go to the concession stand like that's where you were going anyways. So it's not like super
exactly. Yeah.
Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, okay, I was just on my way anyways. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but Chad can vouch for this. Those sets 2 and 3 were super intense. Like, it did not feel like a exhibition at all. So,
yeah, yep, absolutely. It was very intense. It was a playoff type environment, and when we ended up on the wrong end there of that third set, it was like, ooh, it felt like we lost. It was like, wait a second, this is an exhibition. What's going on here?
Right.
But yeah, there was a lot going on there. In addition, with news and notes here, Mark, there was a big announcement.
Yeah, so Denny Sanford does it again. He donated $20 million to USD and for the construction of the new indoor track and field facility. I mean, the renderings there look fantastic. So shout out to Denny Sanford and everyone who made that donation possible. Fantastic.
That's beautiful. Jeepers creepers. Is that a 200? Hold on here. Yeah. New indoor facility feature a 200-meter banked track with a pair of perimeter warm-up lanes, 60 meters straightaway, pair of long jump, triple jump pits, 2 pole vaulting stations, 2 high jumps over straightaways, and a pair of throwing cages. I'm curious, softball maybe practice stuff in there?
They got to be on deck, don't they?
Well, no, like in that facility.
Oh,
with
that's a good question. I don't know.
I think it's 100% track, but I think it's going to be a game changer as far as things go for the rest of athletics as well.
2,000 capacity in there, which for folks that's excellent for an indoor track facility, like to host conference championships. I don't know if like hosting high school events or like other local conference championships like the GPAC or whatever it is, if that's even a conference anymore. I don't know. But that's huge.
Corey Westra, if you're watching, we appreciate you being the GPAC commissioner. Thank you very much.
You don't know. It's always changing. Okay. I don't know. But that's awesome though.
Put the disclaimer on there. So the awesome thing about this gift is it was made in the name of the Gasson family. So a lot of people remember Bill Gasson. He's outstanding football player and track athlete at USD. But the whole family, his wife, his sister. So there was other members of the family, and so this entire gift is in the name of the Gasson family. And so it's going to be a game changer. Just the ability to then do more things with the Dakota Dome that, you don't have to have the facilities crews switching between track, turf, whatever else so much. It's just going to be a huge blessing for the University of South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
So
one last thing on that. Yeah. I did some math. So at my current giving level, you can reverse math to figure out what I'm giving, but it would take me 13,333 years to match that gift that Denny made. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, get to work, Mark. Get to work.
We can't have dead air on this when Mark's got crickets in the background. We can't have. I just noticed that.
Oh yeah.
I have windows open. Windows open. Yeah. It's nice out.
Oh,
I shut the air off.
The weather in Burbank. Oh, yeah. Phenomenal. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into volleyball. So we talked with Coach a little bit about what happened in the exhibition, the preseason up to this point, and so now for volleyball, the upcoming schedule for this next week is posted. They're going to be out at Montana State. And so this is one of those things. Coach did talk with John Thayer on the Yocast a little bit about scheduling and how things work. But Montana State has been very gracious to USD and has, made a couple appearances over the past few years with, different classics and tournaments and things. And so this is kind of one of those return trips. And so the other schools that are going to be there are Oregon, the Ducks.
Might have heard of them.
Yeah. I don't know how many uniform combinations they will have here, but Montana State
probably look pretty cool.
Yeah, the host school, and then Prairie View A&M is the third school, and so that'll be the Yotes versus Prairie View on Sunday at noon. So it's going to be a fast and furious weekend here. You got 5 o'clock Friday night, 6 o'clock Saturday night, and then turn right around and hit a noon on Sunday. But lots of volleyball coming up and lots of chances for the Yotes to show what they can do here early in the season, non-conference season, preseason. I'm still trying to figure out what we're calling it right now, but we'll get that taken care of. But some good stuff hopefully coming up here from the Yotes. And I have not looked into too much where we can watch this tournament, but if I find anything, watch our X and Facebook accounts. And if I see anything where you can watch this stuff, we'll try to post that information.
Yeah. The fact that there's not a watch button there on the right-hand side is kind of distressing, but maybe something's available. We'll go looking.
Yeah. We'll find like a kid in Bozeman to hold a camera holding like YouTube Live or whatever. We'll figure it out. Next up, soccer. Soccer, Mark mentioned earlier, has had a great start to the season, 2-1-1 on the season. Kyla Brown scored against UNI. Clarissa Vega and Brooke Conway scored against Drake. And then against Morningside, The Yotes scored 6 goals, and so the goals scored in this one were from Molly Van Metren, Brooklyn Bordson, Clarissa Vega had 2 of the 6, and then Brooke Nelson and Izzy Quintavalle had a goal. Izzy was on the Yote cast with John Thayer, episode 1 here for the season. So I think that's a good sign for John interviewing people. I'm not stitious or superstitious, but not even a little stitious, but John, if you're listening, keep it up. Season scoring wise for soccer, Clarissa Vega, 3 goals, 1 assist. That counts for 7 points. I did a little bit of research. Goals count as 2 points, assists count as 1. And so that's where that 7 comes from.
Clarissa's a redshirt freshman. Is that right?
I think so.
Clarissa is a redshirt freshman, and trying to pull up the roster right now in front of me. Clarissa is from Menifee, California, and she's majoring in what, Jordan? Kinesiology and sport management.
Oh, that's a great degree to get.
Yes, that's what Jordan majored in college. So.
Much better tools and resources they have now than when I was in school.
Yeah. Brooklyn Bordson, 1 goal and 1 assist, and Brooke Conway also had a goal and assist. Brooke Conway majors in what, Mark?
We discussed this off air, and it's something really, really out of our 3 wheelhouse.
It's
for sure.
Neuroscience. She's a neuroscience major. She is smarter than all of us combined. So, Brooke,
she's always playing chess.
Yeah,
when everyone else is playing checkers on the field, she's playing chess. Wow.
Keep scoring goals. Keep up the good work. But man,
future friend of the show. We got to get her on.
Keep us in mind when you're making the big.
Can we not ask her about neuroscience though? I'd rather not have my head explode.
I want to know how that's not a typical athlete major. So I kind of want to know how she got into that. So that's very interesting. This is next level analysis we're giving here, folks. So that's soccer. Soccer's off to a great start. If you're able to, go check out the schedule at goyotes.com. There are some upcoming matchups here out west. So the soccer team heads west. We'll highlight some of that here at the end of the show. Next up, I don't know. You guys excited?
What's coming up?
Oh yeah. Football. Yeah. We talk about football on this show. Yeah.
Football's back. Okay. So I put this up, the Fox thing, because I thought it was so cool seeing like the Fox big noon kickoff, right? You got Texas, Ohio State. They're amping this up as one of the best regular season openers of all time. And I'm like, my first thought is cool, whatever. Don't like those teams anyways. My second thought is, how cool is it after the biggest game of the day, of the weekend, maybe of the season, who knows? Right after that, it's our University of South Dakota Coyotes taking on Iowa State.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Great exposure.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait.
So the part that sucks, though, is we're not going to be able to tell how many. I mean, unless it's Iowa State, I don't know if they're doing like a specific color, but it's all red.
Right. Like, there's a lot of people going.
Yeah.
And it's been talked about a lot, but just how the schedule sets up for Kansas State, obviously, or Iowa State, sorry. They played Kansas State overseas in Ireland yesterday. They have Iowa next week. If you're drawing up a formula for an FCS team to beat a Power 5 or Power 4 or whatever we're calling that nowadays, this would kind of be it.
The classic trap game scenario.
Trap game. I think we're 15-point dogs, I saw today. So
good. For entertainment
purposes only.
Correct. Do the banner.
So Jordan, you have some more information on this slide. Do you want to go ahead and go through any of that?
Yeah, so I found this on the foundation website. For those that are going, looks like there's going to be a spot, tailgate, tent spot 26. You can read it on the screen, but for those listening, there is a Coyote tailgate from 10:30 a.m. to 2 o'clock on that Saturday, the August 30th. like I said, tailgate spot 26, grass lots just south of parking lot S5. Catered food served at 11 a.m. First come, first serve. Good luck with that. That's awesome. And then the kickoff's at 2:30. To be honest, and I'm going to do a plug for the Facebook USD Coyote Fans Nation group. If y'all are there and want to post more info about that, I'm sure questions are going to pop up like they did last year and the year before about where people are at. So just make sure you share, where you guys are at. And if people have questions, I know Yote fans helping Yote fans is always a big thing. But, it sounds like you guys said, I think that there's going to be quite a lot of Yote fans. Hey, Matt, that's awesome. He's listening. That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to go, had tickets, and we have a family thing now that is this weekend. But our family will have a large tailgate presence up in Watertown for the game. But I don't know if anyone's listening. I don't know of any other watch parties. I kind of hope that some folks can get something in Sioux Falls lined up, or the Sioux Empire area, Rapid City, any other locations, Yankton, Sioux City. But
I know of one in Burbank.
There is one in Burbank.
One in Burbank I heard about. Yep, at a certain garage. Chad, do you have that next slide? I know there's one in Huron during the South Dakota State Fair. That is Tap House on the State Fairgrounds, 2:30, obviously the kickoff, but looks like they've got
We're going to call this the State Fair of South Dakota. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's why I kind of paused a little bit. I'm like, the State Fair of South Dakota will have a watch party for the Yotes game at Tap House. That's Haus house. But no, if you're at the State Fair of South Dakota, be sure to stop by there, get a little rowdy, and enjoy the Yotes game.
Can I bring up one small discussion topic here?
Sure.
Tailgate party, catered food. I'm about grilling. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It depends what it is. Is it catered grilled food? Is it? I don't know. Question. That's
like if any of us did that, I think that's cheating. You don't cater in food to a tailgate.
Like, are we talking like smoked weenies and Swedish meatballs and nachos here? I mean, that's great anywhere else but tailgate. No offense,
Yeah.
Well, I need my shirt to smell like a grill.
Yes.
Going into a football game.
And if there's ever a question on what to bring to a tailgate party, brats are always a good answer. So brats, bring a package of brats, some buns, boom.
We will be making gel Yote shots for this game. For those that it's kind of a need to know basis, and nobody needs to know what's in them. So, but once we get some home games going, what is it? Give me a brat and say, ooh,
Fritos.
That's a good combo.
Yeah.
Is Fritos the twisty barbecue ones that's always excellent on a road trip?
There we go.
And a zillion beers. A zillion legacy.
Matt is invited to the tailgate in Vermilion, wherever that's going to be.
Oh. Well, we can talk a lot more about tailgating and
you'll get me hungry again.
Saturday is going to be a great day. It's national television, Fox.
Let's go.
It's going to be a big deal. So cheer on the Yotes.
Stay healthy, Yotes. Stay healthy.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Well, let's jump back in here and talk about coming up this week. So, Mark, do you want to lead us through this one as well?
Sure. The Coyote Report's back tomorrow night, 6 p.m. John Thayer running that as per usual. I'd imagine we'll get a chance to see Leanne again tomorrow night. I don't think they've announced the guest in particular, but there's usually an athlete there as well. So it's always a great spot to be and get to chat with not only coaches, but the athletes that come through there as well. Lunch with the U, 41st Street in Sioux Falls. Coach Johansson will be up there on Wednesday. Soccer, as we mentioned earlier, will be at Eastern Washington on Thursday and at Idaho on Sunday. And as we mentioned earlier, before as well. Volleyball will be at the Montana State tournament with Oregon, Montana State, and Prairie View A&M. We mentioned a lot of this before. Football, Iowa State, 2:30 kickoff on Fox, or go get to Ames. Triathlon is also kicking off their season. They'll be at the Southern Hill Collegiate Cup over in Hot Springs, South Dakota. So go triathlon. Have a great year.
Is that kicking off the season, or are they?
It's probably running, biking, or swimming off the season. I don't.
Isn't swimming usually the first event in triathlon?
We should have a friend of the show on and figure that out.
Yeah, we need to figure this out. So I would say triathlon is diving into their season. How about that? Or so something along those lines.
Right.
It's not
All
very
right.
good, Chad. That wasn't very good.
That wasn't good? Okay, sorry. Well, you know what? You've got a chance to let me know about it, because our next segment. And now.
And that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, as you see the iChart cardboard cutout, how appropriate.
Through the review, the iChart made its way to the video board. It really injected some energy.
Our friend Mark Wendt is famous for holding up his iChart at basketball games when officials make questionable calls that Mark doesn't agree with. We, in this show, go ahead and give our iChart of the week for calls that were questionable in life, games, or anything else over the past however long it's been since our previous show. And we did this in season 1. It turned out absolutely great. And so we're going to go ahead and go through the reviews from our last show here. The winner was concerts, which Mark spelled incorrectly on the tweet. I kind of went off because every concert of my kids I went to in May, people were making noise. And so I told people to zip it. And you can see there was over almost 2.5 million votes on that one. And
Mark, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty embarrassing to misspell that with 5 million views.
It was open all summer, so yeah, awkward.
Yeah.
Not the first time I've made a fool of myself.
Oh, but so I guess I won. So, according to the rules of the game, I go first. Is that how we do it?
That's how we do the box.
All right. My iChart of the week goes to the neighborhood dog walkers that allow their dogs to poop on my lawn. I know most of the time they pick it up, but occasionally they don't. I do post videos when they don't on the X machine. It was 4th of July week, having a lovely little guest session, made some poor man's burnt ends over at my house. Guess who stopped by? Mark Wendt and Jordan Decker. Neighbor lady happened to be walking her dog, stopped right in front of us, enjoying our food, and her dog dropped a deuce on the lawn 5 feet away from us. People who allow their dogs to poop in other people's yards, you get my iChart of the week.
Brad Newidoff also stopped by that day.
Yeah, Brad Newitt was there. It was
it
was a good night. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I can't even remember. Did I get second?
I don't even know what my nominee was.
Okay. I can go second. I didn't really have one. I'm going to go with the Mercer UC Davis game this last weekend being declared a no contest. I think there was 7 or 8 minutes left in the game, but due to weather, it was called a no contest. And I feel like when you've played that much, while it sucks because I think they were coming back and could have potentially won, the fact that it was called a no contest, I mean, the teams travel, the student athletes sacrifice themselves to provide us entertainment, to play a football game. Just pick a winner and loser, because now we saw this last year with Portland State. Like, the no contest thing is stupid. So whoever's in charge of that rule gets my iChart of the week.
I think if that game plays out, Mercer wins that game. I mean,
yes. But just give a winner and loser. I mean,
right.
I think if Mercer loses that, it's kind of like, well, I think we had them.
Yeah,
but at least you have something on the resume. Now it's like,
Yeah.
Because we know how those polls go at the end of the year. If it's no contest or canceled or forfeited because of a disease that shouldn't even be a thing, like they just don't care about that. So, yeah, that's my eye chart.
Good one.
Thank you.
My eye chart of the week is going to, I think I'll skip his last name, but our friend Mike over on Facebook. And Mitch pointed this out, so shout out to him for doing that. On the post about the donation we talked about earlier, $20 million for the indoor track facility, Mike tweeted out, or on Facebook, I guess it wasn't a tweet, a post. Get rid of stupid tailgating so people could have a place for parking. Tell me you love fall weddings without telling me you love fall weddings. Tailgating. And I think I speak mostly for guys here. Like, football season is when we get to finally get together and just hang out in a parking lot, drink some beers, eat some bratwurst, and then go watch a football game. And then come out and talk about what happened at the football game. It's just therapeutic. It's a whole experience. The whole day is an experience. It's not about the game. It is. The whole day, though. The whole event.
Mm-hmm.
I can't relate to this. I can't imagine using the word stupid and tailgating next to each other ever. So, Mike from Facebook, you get my eye chart of the week.
Well, I think you just won. I mean,
yeah, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
because we just go edit out the dog crap and
Right.
FCS game. I mean,
right.
The crickets in the background probably really gave that some extra flavor.
Oh. Well, we'll post this on the X. Okay, we'll post the results out there, or the options out there, and you all as viewers get a chance to go vote. And then next week, the 5 or 6 million of you that go out and vote on this, we'll take a look at the results from that and display those results on the screen, and that's how we choose the winner. Guys, we had a show tonight. This was awesome.
It was great.
I mentioned if someone out there does have an eye chart of the week, we take fan nomination as well, and we'll put those on the show. So,
and that's one thing we've talked about for those that are listening, watching too. Like, definitely engage with us on the show when we have guests on. Like, we come with questions, obviously, but these coaches, the student athletes, they've told they want to hear from fans too. So whether it's YouTube, Facebook, X, respond to the live links, and we'll get your questions answered, or at least up on the screen. And like Mark said too, submit your eye chart of the week nominees too.
Yep. Slide into the DMs or whatever you need to do. Yep. Well, thank you so much to Coach Leanne Williamson for joining us tonight. Awesome guest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Top-notch person, top-notch program. Proud to say that I know her. I mean, that's just one of those
100%.
things.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Excellent. Guys, we kind of built up last season, right? It took us our first show last year was a little rough, but
do not go back and watch the first couple of episodes.
Season 2, episode 1. This, I don't know if we can get much better in this. So
we got some very productive. Well, you guys got some very productive text messages about the first episode last season. I think we've been building since then.
Yeah.
No bet.
But we do take feedback. So, if you want to chime in, that's fine. We'll see what we can do. But thanks so much to Coach Leanne Williamson, for Jordan Decker, for Mark Wendt. Special thanks to our sponsor, 19 Brewing Company, Main Street, Vermilion. Make sure to go out and support them and tell them the Howling Podcast sent you. Get out there and try it if you haven't. But I'm Chad Birger. Until next time,
go Yotes.
Go Yotes.
Let's go! 3 idiots on a podcast. Like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Runs sucks.
We don't know if any of that's true, but Jordan, don't give me this technically crap. Come on.
Got personal this week.
Lots of stuff happened this week.
Chad Birger, Ryan Gosling of USD.
You're wrong. You guys do it in a really professional manner, and it's awesome.